So a lot of Yeshuot means a lot of success to anything that we need. And this shiur, sponsored by Daniel and Leilu Nishmat Eliezer Cohen ben Angela. Baruch Hashem Tanechem Began Eden, Bezrat Hashem. And so the shiur that we are going to speak is about the Parasha of the week. In this Parasha, Parashat Bo, we speak about the three last plagues of the Egyptian people before we went out from Egypt. And just in parentheses, I would like to share with you that it's very interesting because Bo, the word Bo, is made by two letters, Bet and Aleph. Bet in Hebrew, the numerical value is number 2, and Aleph is number 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Those are the three plagues that we're speaking about in the parasha. So we see here that the name of the parasha explains and represents what we are going to say in the parasha. So the first of the three plagues that we are going to speak about about in the parasha is the plague of Arbe. Arbe means the locust, right? And we should know that the locust, people are disgusted by them, but according to Torah, we have some locusts that are kosher to eat. We have some locusts that are kosher to be eaten. And how do we know the signs of a kosher locust? So, if we have many kinds of locusts, but one of the locusts has like a chet. If you know the letter chet in Hebrew, the chet is like a square missing the. So in the back of the locust, you could see a chet. This is a sign that this locust is kosher to be eaten. Of course, it's very hard to find the sign and to see the chet, and you need to be very motivated to find the chet. But you should know that the halacha says that if you have the chet in the back of the locust, is a kosher locust. Now here the Zera Shimshon says something very interesting. The locusts are like the lice of a field. Just like the lice on the head of someone it shows that it's not healthy and it's not clean and it's eating everything there. People are disgusted by that. Just like that, the locusts in the fields. In the Masechet Ta'anit, in the Gemara of Masechet Ta'anit, we are speaking about the locust as a plague also today, not the plague as it used to be in Egypt, the Egyptian time. But just when someone has in his field a big arriving of locusts eating all the harvest, this is not a good sign. He needs to make teshuvah about it, because whatever is happening in your life, it means things. So therefore, if someone has something like that happening in his field, so he needs to make teshuvah. However, here the Zera Shimshon is bringing some commentaries of the Torah that says that Egyptians were touched and attacked by the locust only once. This was the time when we were in Egypt slaves, and the 7th plague, Arbe, happened. This is the first and the only time that they were attacked by the locust. Why is that? Why the locust happened only once and not afterwards? It means, so he says, because it says clearly in the Torah, ve'acharav lo yihye ken. And after that plague will happen, it will not be any more locusts. What does that mean? We understand from it that the plague of the locust happened only then. And afterwards, even if we see locusts in Egypt, they are not eating the harvest. And here the Shachal al Torah says something very interesting, and he says this is something amazing, because you have the border between Israel and Egypt until today, and you will see behind the border, meaning in Israel, the locust is able to eat the harvest, but if he jumped the other side of the border, the locust doesn't eat anymore. Why? Because the Torah says ve'acharav lo yihye ken, and afterwards it will not be any locust that will eat the harvest. It cannot be like that. It cannot be such a situation. And the question is, why such a miracle? All the other miracles of Egypt happened 1 week, right? How long was last the plague? 1 week in the month. It was 3 weeks of warning. Moshe Rabbeinu going back and forth to Paro and trying to get the Jewish people out. Paro doesn't listen. On the 4th week of the month, Moshe Rabbeinu is sending the next plague. It means that it took 10 months, because 10 plagues, 10 months it took for the Jewish people to be out. Okay? So all those plagues happen only during the time that when it happened. Blood and frogs, and we don't see anymore those plagues. But if you want to see a consequence of a specific plague until today, this will be by the plague of the locust. And on this plague, the Tehillim says, and we say it every day in the Tefillah, if you say Hodu, we say Sirchu bechol nifleotav. Hithalelu b'shem kodsho. What is Sirchu bechol nifleotav? Sirchu bechol nifleotav means, Sirchu meaning speaks about, shmuz about, nifleotav, the wonders of God. And it goes, which wonders we're speaking about. So the literal understanding is the creation is a wonder. Something happened huge, big, perfect. This is a wonder of God. We need to speak about it. But the Shachar Torah says that the wonder that we're speaking here goes about the locusts. And what is the wonder? The wonder is that until today, this plague doesn't attack the Egyptian people. You cannot find any situation in Egypt that the locusts are coming and eating all the harvest that they have in their field. And the question is why? Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu choose the locusts to be the one that will be a plague, that the outcome of it will be until today, that they will not eat the harvest? Why? So the question, to understand the answer, we need to understand a little bit something else. Every child, even the small child, is asking, do we have any other source beside of the source of the Torah about the 10 plagues? In the Torah, we speak so much about wonders that Moshe Rabbeinu made. It should be written somewhere in Egypt, in the papers or whatever, in the archives of Egypt. Do we see any place that the plagues of Egypt happened? And the truth is that we don't find it so much. We don't find in other sources, as in the Torah, written that one day happened that a nation brought the plagues, 10 plagues, and they were slaves and they went to freedom afterwards. We don't see in these other sources. And the question is why? If 10 months of wonders that Kadosh Baruch Hu made in this world is not written only in the Torah, it's a little bit weird. The answer is the following. Because we are speaking about who? Which nation? We are speaking about the nation of the Egyptian. They got the 10 plagues, right? Now, Egypt at that time was like the superpower, like the US today, the superpower. Can you imagine? You take the superpower of the time, and this superpower is going to be down and down and down by who? By the slaves. It was the slaves that made miracles, and they took the superpower down. It's not something that's comfortable to speak about. So therefore, the Egyptian people made sure that the plagues will not be written in any place. Everything will be erased. We are not going to speak about it. Just like when you have something that is not making yourself comfortable, so you don't want to speak about it. Just like that, the Egyptian people didn't want to speak about it because they weren't comfortable to speak about it. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, the Egyptian people doesn't want to speak about the plagues. I will bring a plague that will force them to speak about it. Which plague is that? This plague of the locusts. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle, as we said, that the locusts are not eating the harvests in Egypt. So people from around the world will come in a visit in Egypt, and they will ask, how come that by you the locusts are not eating the harvest? How come? How does it make sense? So they will have to answer, you know why? Because many thousands of years ago, it was Jewish people slaved in Egypt, and they made a big miracle that from that day, the locust that came, it was the last locust, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, "V'acharav lo yeken." Afterwards, he will not. So they are obligated to tell the story. So they wanted to erase the story by not writing in any source, and we have the Torah. That's it. This is the only source. But we don't have another source. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you don't want to speak about it. I will make sure that you will speak about it. How? With the locusts. The locusts will force the Egyptian people to speak about that miracle, that wonder. How come that the locusts are not eating the harvest in Egypt? And he brings here something very interesting. He says that this miracle happened when the Jewish people were in Egypt. But the truth is that even earlier than that time, the locust didn't eat the harvest. Meaning that it was only one time in the history of Egypt that the locust ate the harvest. When was that? When the Jewish people were slaves. But beforehand, before the Jewish people, also they didn't eat. So what? So once again, we just said the opposite. We said that because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said in Egypt, after giving the plague of the locust, ve'acharav lo yeken, after this locust, there will not be any locust. So how come that beforehand also they didn't eat? So he says, because Hagar, who was Hagar? Hagar was the wife of Abraham, and the Torah calls her Keturah. It was Hagar. Now, Hagar was the daughter of Paro, not the same Paro as the time of Egypt, but it was Paro, like Caesar. Caesar is like the big guy, the king of the Romans, right? So Paro is the king of Egyptian. So he says here, Paro at that time had a daughter which was Hagar, and Hagar was given to Abraham. Paro said, I prefer to be my daughter a slave by Abraham than to be a princess by me in the palace of the king of Egypt, by me. So he says, from that time, from that second, that Paro decided to give his daughter to Abraham as a servant, the locusts stopped to eat the harvest in Egypt. And how do we know that? Because if you take the word Hagar, which is the name of that woman, of the daughter of Paro, and you take the word Arbe, the locust, you will see that they are equal. Hagar and Arbe are equal. What is the hint behind it? The hint behind it is that from the second that Paro gave Hagar to Abraham, Arbe stopped to eat the harvest. So what we saw here, we saw something very interesting. We saw, number one, that we have still, until today, we have an outcome of the plagues. According to Zera Shimshon, we have an outcome of the plagues until today. What is the outcome? That the locusts are not eating the harvest of Egyptian. You could put a locust in Egypt, they will be there, but they will not eat the harvest. Why? Because the Torah said, "Ve'acharav lo yeken." Afterwards, why Hashem made that miracle until today? Because Hashem wanted to force the Egyptian people to speak about what happened about the Jewish people. Because the Egyptian people wasn't comfortable about what happened with the 10 plagues, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle, and he made that miracle for so long time, so people will ask, what happened with the locusts? What happened with the locusts? Why they are not eating the harvest? So they will answer, you know why? Because of the Jewish people, they were slaves and they got freed. So we see here something very interesting about the miracle of the locust. Number two, we saw that Arbe and Hagar are the same numerical value, to tell you that Hagar, when Hagar was given as the daughter, as a servant to Abraham, the Arbe didn't eat anymore the harvest. So what do we see here? What is the message? Because of course it's good to learn Torah, but a learning without applying in our life, it's missing, right? So the message that we could apply from what we learned until now is the following. You know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took out the Jewish people very fast. Okay? At the second that Hashem decided to take out the Jewish people from Egypt, from slavery, they went out and they run. They run away. They didn't take their time. And this is the reason why we eat matzot on Pesach. Why? Because they didn't have time to bake and to let the dough rise. So therefore, we eat matzah to remember that they went out from Egypt bechipazon, very, very quick. Okay? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it very quick because he took the Jewish people very quick. Egyptian people took out the Jewish people, they sent them away very quick as well. Bechipazon, they just said, just get out, get out, get out, because they were scared about Makat Bechorot, the plague of the firstborn. They were scared that after the firstborn will be also the other members of the family. So they just took everybody of the Jewish people, they just put them out of Egypt in order to be protected from Makat Bechorot, but to not be attacked. And afterwards also, so the Jewish people, the Egyptian, and also HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it very, very quick. Why? Because it was supposed to be 400 years of slavery. And how much years of slavery they did by the end? Only 210. So 210 years of slavery instead of 400, meaning that Hashem promised Abraham that it will be 400, 400 years. He took the 400 and he made those 400 very compact and very quick in order to finish everything very quick. So we see here that the Egyptian situation, meaning the release of Egypt, was so quick. But when Mashiach will come, it says that it will be the opposite. Lo bechipazon telechu. It says you will not go out quickly. You will go benachat. You will go very slow. You will take your time. And another difference is, when was that? He was in Egypt. In Egypt time, he was the release from Egypt was in middle of the night. You know, from Chatzot it was Makat Bechorot, Amud HaShachar. Before the sunrise, they went out from Egypt. So it was in the time of darkness. When Mashiach will come, it will be in the daytime. Why? Because it will not be doubtful time. The truth will be so clear that the people will not be able to accuse the Jewish people for anything. And we see here until today in the news, we see that even the fire of Los Angeles, some people are saying because of the Jews. Why? They have their reason, I don't know. But they say that the reason is because of the Jews. It means that if we are in a time that are under the impact of the Egyptian time, when you are always in a doubtful, and the people that don't like the Jewish people will always find a reason to blame the Jewish people. Oh, it happened this in China because of the Jews. Oh, in Australia, the Jews. Always we have the Jews as the people to blame. But when Mashiach will come, those people will not be able to blame the Jewish people even if they want to. Why? Because the truth will be so clear and so shining, so they will not be able to open their mouth against the Jewish people. And this is the reason why we are going to take the time. And the message is the following. You know, some people are businessmen, okay? If you are in a business that you need to sell an item, either a jeweler, either a car dealer, anything that you need to sell, you will find yourself in a situation with a customer that is doubtful. Yes, I want to buy these diamonds, I want to buy this car, but I'm not sure, maybe it's not for me, maybe it's too expensive, and he's doubtful. He wants it, but he doesn't. So the question to come to mind, do you need to let him think, or you need to push him? So the answer is, most of the businessmen will say, you need to push him, don't let him think. Because if he thinks a little bit more, the doubt will go into his mind, that's it, you lost it. You need to push him to not let him thinking in order for him to decide and to make the decision.
100%.
Yes. From where we learn it? We learn it from Egypt's time. Because in Egypt time, it was a time of doubt. He wasn't during the darkness time, until in the night time. It was in the time that the Jewish people were blamed for everything, right? So when the time arrived to go out from Egypt, the Jewish people had to run away from Egypt. Why? Because if they are going slowly and they are thinking and maybe yes, maybe not, the doubt will get into their mind. And then what will happen? What will happen? They will stay in Egypt. The doubt is very dangerous. The doubt is very dangerous, and therefore we say that Amalek has the same numerical value as Safek. A doubt and Amalek are the same numerical value. Why? Because from the second that you have a doubt, that's it, you lost it. And therefore, the Chachamim are saying that in Emunat Hashem, to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how do we believe in God? So, of course, when we are singing Anachnu Ma'aminim Bnei Ma'aminim, we are singing all day long that we are trusting in Hashem. That's a very good song. I have nothing to get against it, but it's not the key to believe in God, because we could sing a song that speak about believing in God, but the truth is that the person is doubting about Hashem Chadeshah. So the question is, how do we believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to not have any doubt? Because we understand that having a doubt is Amalek, so how could we always be above the doubt? So it says like this. It says that, you have the body of the person. The body of the person has main parts, the major parts. You have the head, you have the body, and the connection between the head and the body is the neck. Okay? The neck is the connection. So the question comes to mind, why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the body like that, with a connection between the head and the body? HaKadosh Baruch Hu was able to create the body, the head on top of the body, and that's it. Why you need the neck for? So in Kabbalah there is an answer. There is an answer. What is the head? What is the meaning and the status of a head? Is to understand, to think, to analyze. And what is the symbol and the status of a body? Is to feel, to be emotion, to connect. This is the body, because the heart and because of the brain. The brain is cold, therefore you use it in a cold, to think. You need to be very cold in your mind, not being all over and watching the news. If you want to have your ideas clear, you should not see anything else in the world. You need to be focused in what you see now, in what you learn. And the emotions is the connection between each other, which is very hot. And the question is, why HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't create the intellect connected straight to emotions? So the answer is like this, because if the intellect will be connected with the emotions straight, 100%, what will happen then? The emotions will not be able to hold it. Because when we understand in a level that the emotions cannot reach. Why the emotion cannot reach the understanding? Because even in the body, the heart is lower than the brain. So the heart, because it's lower in the brain, from the brain, so is not on the same level. You cannot feel exactly what you understand. So in other words, because the understanding is so high, so powerful, if you connect the understanding as is into the feelings, so the feelings will not make it. It will explode. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the neck. And the neck is narrower than the body and narrower than the head. What is the meaning of it? The meaning of it is that this will be a bridge that will make smaller, will make compact the understanding to the feelings. In order for the heart to understand and to receive the understanding and to feel it, right? You have the neck in order to minimize it. So in other words, the neck is the bridge that connects the feelings to the mind and the mind to the feelings. Okay? So if you don't have the neck, what will happen? the head and the body will not make it. It's not connecting. Why? Because the head is too high and the emotions are too low. How do we see that in Kabbalah? It says because in Hebrew, the neck is called oref. Oref is the neck in Hebrew. Therefore, the Jewish people are called the keshe oref. They have the red neck. They have a very hard neck because they are stubborn, right? The Jewish people are stubborn, therefore they're calling the neck, the hard neck. And oref are the same letters than paro. Interesting. Oref, which is the neck, are the same letters than paro, which is the king of Egypt, right? Paro. What is the connection between oref and paro?
It says, stubborn.
Because Paro was stubborn. Because Paro said to Moshe Rabbeinu, who is God? Moshe Rabbeinu comes to him with Aaron to tell him that he's coming from in the name of God to release the Jewish people. He says, I don't know you guys, I don't know God, who is he? Meaning that the Oref is here to minimize and to say, I don't care. So when the neck gets the information of the brain to go down into the feelings, he is cooling off the understanding in order for the feelings to understand it properly. When you have an emotion that is burning in your heart and it goes up to the brain to act, right? So the neck says, oh, slowly, the emotion should not be on fire. The brain is very cold, slowly. So this is the bridge to minimize the intellect to the feelings and the feelings to the intellect. You understand? So this is the reason why we have the neck. And because the neck, oref, is the same letters as paro. And here we understand something new. You know, in the Bet HaMikdash, the Kohen Gadol had a full service. At a specific moment in his service, he had to make the shechita of a small bird. Very small bird. Now, this shechita of the bird wasn't a shechita with a knife, a regular shechita. He had to do it with his nail. With the nail, cutting the neck of the bird. It seems a little bit cruel, right? But what is the message behind it? The message behind it is the following. How do you call it? How do you call this action to make the shechita with the neck, with the nail? Melika. Melika is the disconnection of the head from the head to the body of the bird. Melika and Amalek are the same letters as well, are the same root. Melika and Amalek. What is the meaning? Amalek, which is Paro, which is the doubt, his job is like this. He's coming to you and he says, disconnect your understanding from your feelings. What you understand in the lecture of the rabbi stays in your mind. Don't get excited from it. You will become too much religious. It's not good. It's dangerous. Be careful. This is melika. To disconnect the head from the body. And come the Torah in this parasha and says, no, we don't need to have the doubt. We need to go out from Egypt bechipazon, very quick, because making things quick with the mind is the antidote, is the medication against the doubt. Because more you wait and bigger will be the doubt, right? And therefore people are saying, in the religious world, the Orthodox world, to date with a girl, it takes 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, then you become chatan, domot. You become chatan. After 4 months of dating. How come you don't know her? Why, what will happen? No. Because more you stay with her and you date,
Doubts.
The doubt is bigger and bigger and bigger, and bigger is the doubt, and lower is the chance that you will end up in a good way with this girl. And the same for the man, it's the same. You understand? Why? Because the doubt, by definition, from the second that you have it, if you wait, that's it, you're lost. And then you don't know what you want, and then you lost yourself, and then you go to the rabbi and you say, what I should have, I don't know. At the beginning, when he was 20 years old, too fresh into the dating, he knew I want a girl like this, I wanted that, and this, that. 3 years afterwards, that's it. He made few dating. It didn't work. Why? Because he waited so much, and then he's lost. He doesn't know. He saw so much girls. He doesn't know what he needs. So here comes the point. The point is that when you know a girl, right? And when I'm saying a girl, it's the same for a boy. So when you know a girl, you need to first to meet her. When you meet her, okay, don't basically another word like this. In the world, first of all, people are falling in love and then they want to get married. In the Jewish world, first we get married and then we fall in love. Why? Because, I'm working in the Beit Din. We have a Beit Din here, the rabbinical court. And we have Din Torah. What is a Din Torah? Two sides that litigate in financial situation. They don't know how to decide by themselves, so they go to the rabbi. And the rabbi hears this side and the other side, and he decides according to what he hears, what is the right decision between them. Now, if let's say one of the sides, the day before they are coming to the Beit Din, they are coming to the rabbi and they give him $100. Is the rabbi allowed to judge them? No, of course not. Why? Because the $100 will make his mind tricked, messed up. And because of that, he will not have a straight understanding. He will always, think better on the side of the guy. Now, if this is so, let's take this situation for dating a girl. If you have love for a girl, right? You have love for her, and you want to judge, is that girl for you, for me, or not? You need to judge. Are you allowed to judge if you have love? Of course not. If with money you cannot judge two sides, with love, which is much deeper in the body, in the person, of course you cannot judge. So therefore, the right way is first to match what you have and what she has. You are like this, you want like that. Oh, okay, this person match my profile, so let's go date her. On the dates, you speak, you understand who is she, you don't feel any love. After 2-3 dates, you need to feel something. I'm not saying that you should not feel anything. You feel something. When you feel something, it's a good sign. Don't let the doubt growing. Because when you pass 1 year and 2 years and 3 years, only problems might happen. From that second, you are getting Khatan, and then from Khatan, you are getting ready for being married. And in the time of Gemara, it was very different than today's wedding. Today's wedding, how it's happening? You have the Khatan and the Kala in the Chuppah. And the Khatan gives the ring to the Kala. And he says, Arat Mekudeshet li, and he's getting married with the ring. And then we straight go to the Sheva Brachot, 7 blessings that we bless the Khatan and the Kala. At the time of the Gemara, it wasn't like that. It was different. It was first the ring, then everybody goes home, the Khatan goes home, the Kala goes by her parents. They are waiting 1 year for preparation for the Kala to be able to know how to cook, to take care of the house, for the Khatan to be able to fight the situation. And then when they are ready, after 1 year, they are getting back together under the chuppah, and they are making the 7 blessings. And in this year, they are married, but they are not allowed to live together. Why they are not allowed to live together? Because the 7 blessings are the key to allow you to that girl. If you didn't say 7 blessings, the wife is like Nida. She's not pure to you, so you cannot have any relationship. So we see here that in the time of the Gemara was 1 year apart. First, it was a time of engagement, meaning the ring, and then 1 year afterwards, it was the wedding. Okay. Today, what do we do? Everything on the spot. The Chatan gives the ring, and right away afterwards we make the 7 blessings. What we understand from here, that we should not let the doubt getting into your mind. Because at the time of the Gemara, when 1 year was apart, the 2 engagement and the wedding, so the Chatan was thinking, is she the right one or not? Is she this? Is she that? Is she this? Is she that? And then he was breaking the wedding, and it was a big problem. So now we don't want the Chatan and the Kala to think too much, so therefore we do it quickly. And the message is that if we have a doubt and you want to overcome it, you need to do it quickly. If you are lazy about something, you don't want to light your Shabbat candles, you prefer to stay on the phone, or you don't want to put on tefillin in the morning, you are lazy, you want to stay in bed. So if you do it quickly, this is the best way to overcome your laziness. Do things quickly. Teach yourself to run to things. You do quickly, suddenly it will awake a special force in your body that will teach you how to act quickly. If you're lazy and you are not acting quickly, so you're lazy and you're lost. This is safek. And the point is like this. Why we are lazy? Because the Akadosh Baruch Hu created the human being with dust. Mainly we are created from dust. We have in our body water, we have fire, we have wind as well because we breathe. So we have the 4 elements of creation, but the dust is the most part of the creation of the body. But the woman wasn't created from dust; it was created from Adam HaRishon. So therefore, the women are not that lazy as men. The men are more lazy. I'm speaking about statistics, the big, of course we could find here and there situation, but I'm speaking in big picture. The men are more lazy than women. Women are more waking up early and doing stuff and working hard and trying their best. Men, of course, they are doing that, but it's much more difficult for them to wake up in the morning. It's much more difficult for them to do it quickly. Why? Because we are like that. We were created from dust, and we are lazy. We are lazy. So therefore, the message of this class is the following. Safek, meaning a doubt. Begematria, numerical value, Amalek. And the Torah wants us to destroy the name of Amalek. Destroy the name of Amalek. Today we don't know who is Amalek, so therefore we cannot destroy any Amalek here. But we could start with spiritual Amalek. The spiritual Amalek is having doubt, being lazy, being heavy. And to overcome this laziness, to overcome this doubt, we need to do stuff quickly. But when Mashiach will come and the galut, the exile will be end. Why? Because we finish our service of God in exile. So the truth will shine. We will not be lazy anymore. The world will be completely spiritual, and then the laziness will disappear. And therefore, Mashiach will come. We will go out from exile slowly. Not like in Egypt that they run away from Egypt. They run away because they had doubt. And if they were waiting for 1 more second or even 1 more minute, they were staying there, because if you think, everything is free. They had free food, free everything. So they were staying there. So they had to run away from Egypt in order to go out, because they were lazy. They had doubt. When Mashiach will come, we will not have doubt. So let's prepare ourselves and take away the doubt from us through being very quick. Doing stuff with the mind, with thinking, but when we thought, we do it quickly.